Story disclaimer. This story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. The content includes dark themes, horror elements, and fictional depictions of rituals and sacrifices that are purely imaginative and not reflective of any real-life practices or beliefs. Viewer discretion is advised. This video is not suitable for younger audiences, and parental guidance is recommended. The story does not endorse or promote any harmful behavior, violence, or dangerous activities. Please note that all characters, events, and settings are entirely fictional and created for the purpose of storytelling. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental. In the bustling streets of Lagos, young rapper aka dreams of fame. When an enigmatic music producer offers him a dark opportunity to join the Brotherhood, aka is tempted by promises of stardom. But this cult demands a sinister sacrifice, and aka soon finds himself entangled in a web of ancient magic, betrayal, and powerful forces. As aka battles shadows to protect his loved ones and his dreams, he must confront the darkest depths of ambition. Will he succumb to the abyss, or rise above the darkness to become a true hero? A tale of music, power, and the cost of ambition. Witness AKA's battle against the forces that lurk behind fame. In the bustling heart of Lagos, the streets were alive with the sounds of honking cars, street vendors shouting, and the rhythmic pulse of music that flowed from every corner. Among the crowds, a young rapper named AKA stood on a small stage in a local bar, his heart racing. He had been honing his skills for years, pouring his soul into every verse, but today felt different. This was his moment. AKA had a natural talent for words. They flowed from him like water, painting pictures of his struggles, his dreams, and the vibrant life around him. The small crowd was captivated, nodding their heads and tapping their feet. But as the final notes faded, AKA was met with polite applause, a bittersweet sound that echoed in his heart. He was still unknown, just another artist in a city overflowing with talent. As he stepped off the stage, disappointment washed over him like a heavy rain. "I need a break," he muttered to himself. The city was full of dreams, but it was also full of shadows. Fame seemed just out of reach, a distant star twinkling in the vast night sky. Then he heard whispers about an influential music producer named Jide, known for launching careers. They said he had a golden touch but a dark reputation. With a mixture of excitement and fear, AK sought him out, finding Jide in an upscale club surrounded by luxury. The atmosphere buzzed with the allure of success, but AK sensed an undercurrent of something sinister. Jide's eyes sparkled as he listened to AKA rap, his smile widening. "You have talent, kid. But talent alone won't get you to the top," he said, leaning closer. "You need to join the Brotherhood." AKA's heart skipped a beat. The Brotherhood was a cult rumored to control the music scene. "What do you mean?" AKA asked, curiosity battling with apprehension. Jide's smile turned serious. "It's simple. You sacrifice something dear to you, and in return, we'll give you the fame you crave. You'll be a star." AKA's mind raced. Sacrifice. What could he possibly give up? The thought chilled him, yet a flicker of hope ignited within him. This could be his chance. As he left the club, AKA felt a heaviness in his chest. He looked up at the sky, stars twinkling like promises of success. But as he walked the streets of Lagos, he realized that every dream comes with a price. What would he be willing to pay to make it big? With each step, AKA felt the weight of his choices bearing down on him. The darkness of ambition loomed ahead, and he knew he had to decide soon. Would he embrace the shadows or walk away from the lure of fame? AKA tossed and turned in his small bedroom that night, the weight of Jide's words echoing in his mind. The idea of joining the Brotherhood haunted him, like a dark shadow lurking in every corner of his thoughts. He wanted success more than anything, but at what cost? As dawn broke, aka decided to take a walk through Lagos. The city was waking up, vendors setting up their stalls, and children laughing as they played in the streets. He found comfort in the everyday chaos, but his heart felt heavy. The sun's rays poured down, but he couldn't shake the chill that Jide's offer had brought. He thought of his younger sister, Tolu. She had always been his biggest fan, cheering him on at every performance. Her laughter was like music to his ears. The thought of sacrificing anything, especially her, twisted in his gut. Could he really join a cult that demanded such a price? But what if this was the only way to make his dreams come true? As he wandered through the market, aka stumbled upon a small shrine dedicated to local spirits. The vibrant colors and burning incense drew him in. The aroma filled the air, grounding him in the moment. He knelt before the shrine, his heart racing. "What should I do?" he whispered, searching for guidance. Suddenly, an old woman appeared from behind the stall, her eyes piercing and wise. "You seek fame, young one?" she asked, her voice low and mysterious. Aka nodded, unsure of what to say. "I want to be a star, but there's a price." The old woman studied him intently. "Fame can blind you. It can lead you down dark paths. Be careful what you choose to sacrifice. Some things cannot be returned." Her words echoed in his mind as he walked away, leaving him more conflicted than before. That evening, he met with his friends, hoping to share his thoughts. They gathered around a small table at their usual spot, laughter filling the air as they reminisced about old times. "Aka, you're going to make it big one day," his friend Chuka exclaimed, raising his drink. "You just need the right break." But as Aka smiled, his mind was elsewhere. He felt a sudden urge to share his dilemma. What if I have to give up something important to make it? The laughter faded, replaced by a heavy silence. "You can't be serious," said Amara, his closest friend. "Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something you'll regret." Eke looked at their worried faces, their concern piercing his heart. He felt trapped between two worlds, the desire for success and the loyalty to those he loved. That night, he lay awake again, thoughts swirling. He couldn't ignore the allure of the brotherhood, the promise of fame. But as he imagined stepping onto the big stage, he also envisioned Tolu's disappointed face if he made the wrong choice. With dawn approaching, Bekeye made a decision. He would confront Jide, demanding to know what sacrifice truly meant. He would stand up for his dreams without losing himself or those he loved. But in the back of his mind, he knew the journey would only get darker, and the cost of ambition would reveal itself soon enough. Eke paced through the bustling streets of Lagos, the echoes of Jide's words haunting him. The club loomed behind him, a fortress of temptation that threatened to consume him whole. He needed answers, and he needed them fast. As he navigated the crowded market, the vibrant colors and laughter felt muted, overshadowed by the weight of his choices. That evening, he returned to the shrine he had stumbled upon earlier. The old woman was there, her eyes glimmering with wisdom as if she could see right through him. "You've come back, child. The shadows are whispering your name," she said, her voice a blend of warmth and warning. "I need to know about the Brotherhood," Eke said, desperation creeping into his tone. "What is their magic? What do they want from me?" The old woman's expression darkened. "The Brotherhood wields powers that bend the very fabric of ambition. They can grant success, but at a cost that stains the soul. They do not play fair, their magic is laced with darkness." Eke felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of darkness? Those who join must offer something valuable, a part of their spirit, a connection to the ones they love. This isn't just a choice, it's a binding. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, intricate amulet. "Take this. It will protect you from their magic. Use it wisely." Grateful yet wary, Reke accepted the amulet. As he slipped it into his pocket, he felt a surge of energy pulse through him. "What if I refuse?" he asked, uncertainty clouding his mind. "Refusal has its own price," she replied cryptically. "Sometimes the darkness finds you fast, whether you accept it or not." The next day, aka found himself in the heart of the club again, surrounded by the allure of fame and the thrum of the crowd. He spotted Jide, who was speaking to a group of eager artists, their eyes gleaming with ambition. As aka approached, he felt the air grow thick with tension. "Aka." Jide's voice cut through the noise, drawing the attention of the crowd. "You're just in time. We are discussing the true power of the Brotherhood." He gestured for aka to join them. "You want success? You must be ready to embrace the magic." AKA's heart raced as Jide began weaving a tale of the Brotherhood's rise. "We have rituals that unlock the secrets of the industry. We can make you a star, but you must understand, their magic requires absolute loyalty." "What does that mean?" AKA asked, fighting to keep his voice steady. Jide's eyes gleamed with mischief. "It means you'll be bound to the Brotherhood. You'll perform rituals that call upon dark forces, bending them to your will. You may even need to draw power from the spirits of animals, nothing too violent, of course," he added with a sly smile. AKA's stomach churned. "And if I refuse? Then you risk becoming nothing. The shadows will consume you. You see, we are all part of this magical dance. The more you resist, the stronger they become." As Jide spoke, aka noticed the energy in the room shift, a thick cloud of anticipation forming. The other artists leaned in closer, captivated by the power that surrounded them. Aka felt an intoxicating pull, a lure that tugged at his very soul. "Tonight," Jide continued, his voice low and enticing, "we have a special gathering. A ceremony where you can witness our power firsthand. You may find the answers you seek." AKA's heart raced. This was it. This was the moment that could change everything. But as he considered the invitation, he couldn't shake the sense that he was stepping deeper into a trap. What kind of magic awaited him? And at what cost? That night, aka stood at the crossroads of ambition and darkness, the shadows whispering secrets he was not yet ready to hear. As he looked around at the eager faces, he realized the price of his dreams was beginning to reveal itself, and he had to decide whether to plunge into the abyss or turn back before it was too late. The night arrived with a heavy shroud of darkness, the kind that wraps around you and tugs at your heart. AKA stood outside the club, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The music thumped through the walls, pulsating with energy, but he felt a different rhythm, the call of the Brotherhood beckoning him deeper into the unknown. As he stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. The air was thick with anticipation, swirling with whispers and secrets. Flickering candles cast eerie shadows that danced along the walls, creating an otherworldly ambience. Jide stood at the center of the room, surrounded by an eclectic group of artists, each wearing expressions that flickered between eagerness and dread. "Welcome to the Gathering of Shadows," Jide announced, his voice booming over the music. "Tonight, you will witness the true power of the Brotherhood. Prepare yourselves for a journey beyond the ordinary." AKA felt a chill run down his spine as he moved closer. The walls seemed to close in, and he sensed the weight of unseen eyes watching him. Jide gestured toward a small altar draped in dark fabric, adorned with candles and animal figurines, each representing a different spirit. The energy in the room crackled like electricity, and AK's instincts screamed at him to turn back. But he was trapped in the web of ambition, drawn by the desire for success. "Tonight, we will awaken the spirits," Jide declared, raising his arms dramatically. "We'll call upon them to grant us strength and insight, to fuel our art and elevate our craft." AK's breath quickened as he watched Jide place a small, intricately carved figurine of a lion at the center of the altar. "This is our offering," Jide explained. We honor the spirits and request their guidance. But first, we must connect with them. Each of you will share a piece of your story. One by one, the artists stepped forward, sharing tales of their struggles, their dreams, and their fears. With each confession, AK felt the air grow heavier, thick with an energy he couldn't comprehend. It was as if the room itself was breathing, alive with the weight of their ambitions. When it was AK's turn, he hesitated, his heart racing. "I'm AK. I want to be a star, to make my mark on the world," he began, the words spilling from him like a confession. "But I feel lost, like the shadows are closing in." As he spoke, he caught Jide's gaze, a knowing glint sparking in his eyes. "Let the spirits hear your plea," Jide urged, encouraging him to dig deeper. With every word, AK felt a surge of energy envelop him, a strange connection to something greater. The room grew silent, the other artists leaning in closer, their eyes fixed on him. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. Then, Jide waved his hand over the altar. "Now, we invoke the spirits. We offer them our passion, our struggles." He reached for a small bowl filled with water, placing it next to the lion figurine. "And we shall mix our essence with this offering." As he spoke, he sliced into a small piece of fruit, squeezing the juice into the bowl, the vibrant color mingling with the water. "This is our bond, our commitment to the brotherhood and the magic we seek." AKA felt a strange pull, an urge to join the ritual. Without thinking, he picked up the figurine, holding it tightly. "I'm ready to offer my truth," he declared, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. "Then you must be willing to accept the price," Jide replied, a wicked grin spreading across his face. "Tonight, we offer the spirit of the lion. We invoke its strength, but know that to gain its power, we must give a piece of ourselves." As the candles flickered, the air around them crackled with energy. AKA felt the room shift, the shadows stretching and writhing as if awakening from slumber. The whispers grew louder, filling his mind with a cacophony of voices, urging him to embrace the darkness. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the music died down. An unearthly roar echoed through the club, sending shivers down AK's spine. The ground shook as if the very essence of the spirit was awakening. He could feel it coursing through him, igniting a fire in his veins. "Are you ready, AKA?" Jide's voice was a low growl, the excitement palpable. "Do you accept the bond?" AKA's heart raced. This was it, the moment he'd been waiting for. But as he looked around at the eager faces, he felt a weight pressing down on him. Was he ready to delve into the darkness, to embrace the unknown? The choice loomed before him, and in that moment, AKA realized the true nature of ambition. It was not just about the fame or the fortune, it was about the sacrifices made along the way. As the shadows danced and the spirits stirred, AKA stood at the precipice of his destiny. He could feel the power surging within him, a promise of greatness, but at what cost? The night held the key to his dreams, and the darkness awaited his decision, hungry for a new soul to consume. AKA stood frozen in the dim light of the club, the figurine of the lion clutched tightly in his hand. The air crackled with energy, and a heavy weight pressed down on his chest. He could feel the spirits stirring, their presence palpable and intoxicating. The roars echoed in his mind, mingling with the heartbeat of the club, and he sensed the call of the abyss growing stronger. "Do you accept the bond?" Jide's voice was almost a whisper now, heavy with expectation, as if the very walls leaned in closer to hear AK's response. With his heart racing, AK felt torn between desire and fear. He had dreamed of this moment, but the reality of what it meant sent shivers down his spine. "What happens if I say yes?" he asked, his voice barely audible over the thunderous pulse of the music. Jide leaned in, his eyes gleaming with a wicked light. "You will gain the strength of the lion, the power to captivate audiences, to rise above the noise. But know this, the shadows will demand their due. The spirit will require your loyalty, your essence. You will forever be bound to the brotherhood. The other artists watched in rapt attention, their expressions a mix of envy and dread. Aka could feel their hopes hanging in the air, each of them wanting to break free from their struggles. But what did it mean to sacrifice a part of himself? Tonight, Jide continued, his voice low and hypnotic, we will call upon the spirits to witness your commitment. You must confront your fears, embrace the darkness, and offer a piece of your essence to the lion. As he spoke, Jide reached for a ceremonial gold stick, not for violence, but for the ritual. The gold stick glimmered ominously in the candlelight, casting reflections that danced like phantoms on the walls. This is how we connect with the spirit. It's a part of the magic we invoke. AKA's heart raced as he glanced at the gold stick. What do you mean? How do I offer a piece of my essence? By cutting a small mark upon your skin, Jide explained. Just a drop of your essence mingled with the spirit of the lion. It will bind you to the magic, enhance your power, but it will also demand your commitment. The air grew thick with anticipation. AKA's hands trembled as he stared at the sharp golden stick. Was he truly ready to take this plunge? As if sensing his hesitation, Jide's expression darkened. Time waits for no one, Beke. The shadows are restless, and they will not tolerate indecision. You must act now or be consumed by the very darkness you fear. In that moment, Beke felt a rush of adrenaline. The voices of the spirits echoed louder, swirling around him like a tempest, urging him to embrace the unknown. He could feel the lion's spirit calling out, promising strength and success beyond his wildest dreams. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, the golden stick glinting like a star in the night. I accept, he declared, a fierce determination igniting within him. I will offer my essence to the lion. Jide's eyes gleamed with approval as he handed the golden stick to Aka. The room held its breath, the energy electric. Aka lifted the golden stick to his skin, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the weight of the moment, the air thick with magic. He pressed the sharp part of the golden stick against his palm, the sharpness biting into his skin. A rush of warmth coursed through him as he felt the connection deepen, the essence of the lion intertwining with his own. A single drop of crimson spilled onto the altar, merging with the bowl of water, and a powerful surge of energy erupted in the room. The candles flickered violently, and the shadows writhed as if awakened by the offering. The roar of the lion filled the air, drowning out the sounds of the club, and Aka felt the spirit envelop him, filling him with a sense of strength and clarity he had never known. But as the roar subsided, a chilling silence fell over the gathering. The shadows shifted, darkening the corners of the room, and Aka's heart sank. Something was wrong. Welcome to the Brotherhood, Jide intoned, his voice echoing ominously. You are now bound to the darkness, and it will demand more than just your essence. You must face your fears and prove your loyalty, or the shadows will consume you. Aka felt a chill wash over him, the weight of the choice heavy on his shoulders. He glanced around the room, realizing that the other artists were now looking at him with a mix of awe and fear. The magic he had sought was no longer just a promise of success, it was a living entity, demanding respect and obedience. Tonight, we shall witness the awakening of your true potential, Jide proclaimed. But first, you must confront the spirit of the lion. It will test your resolve. What do you mean? Aka asked, unease creeping into his voice. Suddenly, the altar glowed with an eerie light, and a shadowy form began to materialize before them, a massive, spectral lion, its eyes burning with ancient wisdom. The air trembled as it roared, shaking the very foundations of the club. Aka felt a surge of fear and exhilaration. The spirit was real, and it was here to test him. He took a step back, his instincts screaming at him to run. But he couldn't back down now. The darkness had claimed a part of him, and he had to face whatever came next. Face your spirit. Jide commanded, his voice echoing through the chamber. Only by conquering it can you unlock your true power. As the lion loomed closer, AK's heart raced. He could feel its energy pulsing through the air, challenging him to rise above his fears. This was the moment that would define him, his chance to claim the magic of the Brotherhood or be consumed by the very shadows he had chosen to embrace. AKA steadied himself, drawing on every ounce of courage within him. He would confront the spirit, for better or worse. He would fight for his dreams, even if it meant wrestling with the darkness itself. The spectral lion loomed before AKA, its golden eyes piercing through the darkness. The air vibrated with tension, and AKA felt his heart pound like a war drum. He had to confront the spirit, but a flicker of doubt crept in. Could he truly face the embodiment of his deepest fears? Stand firm. Jide shouted, his voice echoing against the walls. The lion tests your resolve. Show it you are worthy. AKA took a deep breath, channeling the energy from the offering. He squared his shoulders and met the lion's gaze. The spirit seemed to swirl with an ancient wisdom, its power both daunting and alluring. But just as he began to feel the connection, the ground shook and the lights flickered. In a sudden flash, the lion roared, sending a shockwave through the club. The shadows twisted and contorted, and then a figure emerged from the darkness. AKA stumbled back, his breath hitching in his throat. It was Kemi, his childhood friend, the one person who had always believed in his dreams. But now, she appeared different, her eyes were glazed, her expression vacant, as if she were under a spell. What is she doing here? AKA gasped, panic rising within him. Jide's smile twisted into something sinister. The lion's spirit demands a tribute, AKA. A test of loyalty. To gain the strength you seek, you must sacrifice the one you love most. AKA's heart dropped as the reality of Jide's words hit him like a punch to the gut. Kemi had always been by his side, encouraging him when times were tough. To sacrifice her. It felt like a betrayal of everything they had fought for together. No. I won't do it. AKA shouted, his voice rising with desperation. He stepped forward, reaching for Kemi, who stood eerily still, her gaze fixed on nothing. Kemi. Can you hear me? But Kemi didn't respond. She seemed trapped in a trance, lost to the darkness that surrounded her. AKA turned back to Jide, anger boiling within him. This is madness. You can't expect me to choose between my dreams and my friend. Jide's expression remained calm, a predator reveling in his prey's struggle. This is the way of the Brotherhood. Power comes with a price. You must decide, your dreams or her. The words echoed in AKA's mind, each syllable striking like a hammer against glass. He was faced with a choice that could change everything. As the tension mounted, a blinding flash erupted from the altar, and the spectral lion let out a thunderous roar that shook the very foundations of the club. The shadows danced frantically, swirling around Kemi and AKA, pulling him further into a chasm of darkness. Choose now. Jide urged, his voice laced with urgency. Embrace your destiny. AKA's mind raced, thoughts colliding like crashing waves. He could feel the weight of Kemi's life in his hands. Memories flooded back, the laughter they shared, the dreams they crafted together, and her unwavering support. Could he really betray that for fame? Suddenly, the shadows coiled around Kemi, wrapping her in a dark embrace. She gasped, her expression shifting as she began to struggle against the unseen forces. AKA. Help me, she cried, her voice filled with panic. That cry pierced through the chaos, igniting a fire within him. AKA's heart surged with determination. He couldn't let her go. Not now, not ever. I choose her, he shouted, defiance ringing in his voice. Jide's expression turned icy, disbelief flashing in his eyes. You dare defy the Brotherhood? I would rather be a failure than sacrifice my friend, aka declared, stepping forward to shield Kemi from the shadows. At that moment, the spectral lion roared once more, and the shadows convulsed violently. An overwhelming surge of energy enveloped aka, pulling him into a whirlwind of light and dark. He felt the spirit of the lion merging with him, amplifying his resolve, intertwining their fates. In a stunning twist, the energy exploded outward, shattering the spell binding Kemi. She gasped, breaking free from the dark tendrils, her eyes clearing. aka, what's happening? As the dark forces receded, the club was engulfed in a blinding light, the shadows dissolving into nothingness. Jide stumbled back, shock written across his face. No. This is not how it's supposed to be. Aka stood tall, the power of the lion coursing through him, igniting a fierce flame of courage. This isn't about power or fame. It's about friendship, loyalty, and the strength to stand against the darkness. The spectral lion roared one last time, shaking the very ground beneath them before retreating into the shadows, leaving aka and Kemi bathed in its glowing light. The other artists around them stood in awe, captivated by the unexpected turn of events. But deep inside, aka knew this was only the beginning. The Brotherhood would not take kindly to his defiance, and the shadows would come for him. He glanced at Kemi, determination etched on his face. We have to get out of here. They won't stop until they get what they want. As they turned to leave, AK felt the weight of the choice settle within him. He had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, but at what cost? The real battle was just beginning, and he could feel the shadows lurking, waiting for their chance to strike back. Let's go, he said, gripping Kemi's hand tightly as they pushed through the crowd, the music still pumping around them, unaware of the storm that had just unfolded. Aka and Kemi fled into the night, hearts racing as they heard the echoes of Jide's laughter chasing them down the dimly lit streets of Lagos. The shadows seemed to stretch out toward them, reaching for their ankles, but they pressed on, adrenaline propelling them forward. Suddenly, Kemi stumbled, and aka turned to catch her. We can't stop. They'll find us, he urged, glancing over his shoulder. I can't keep running, Kemi gasped, her breath coming in ragged bursts. It feels like they're everywhere. In the darkness, a low growl reverberated, sending chills down AK's spine. From the shadows, a figure emerged, cloaked in darkness with eyes that glinted like polished obsidian. It was another member of the Brotherhood, a menacing presence that sent shivers coursing through him. What do you want? Aka shouted, standing protectively in front of Kemi. The Brotherhood doesn't take kindly to those who defy their will, the figure hissed, his voice dripping with malice. You think you can escape the shadows? They are part of you now. As he spoke, dark tendrils twisted around his limbs, forming grotesque shapes that danced in the moonlight. Aka felt a surge of fear, but he couldn't back down. We are not afraid of you, he yelled, his voice shaking but defiant. The figure laughed, the sound that echoed eerily in the stillness of the night. Fear is exactly what the shadows thrive on. You'll learn that soon enough. With a wave of his hand, the shadowy figure unleashed a wave of darkness that surged toward Aka and Kemi. Time seemed to slow as Aka prepared to fight, summoning the lion spirit within him. But before he could act, the shadows enveloped them, pulling them into a void where reality twisted and turned. They found themselves in a dimly lit chamber filled with flickering candles and a chilling atmosphere. The Brotherhood members surrounded them, their faces shrouded in hoods, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Jide stood at the forefront, a wicked grin stretching across his face. Welcome to our sanctum, Aka. You've entered the heart of darkness. Kemi shivered beside him, clutching Aka's arm tightly. What do you want from us? She demanded, her voice trembling. Jide stepped closer, the shadows swirling around him like a dark mist. We want to show you the true power of the Brotherhood. To embrace the darkness within you, you must undergo the initiation, a dark ritual that will bind you to our fate. AKA felt a sense of dread wash over him. What does that mean? Jide's eyes glinted with malice. It means you must face your fears and prove your loyalty. Only then will you be worthy of the power that awaits you. Suddenly, the candles flickered violently, and a chill filled the air. The members of the Brotherhood raised their arms, chanting in a language AKA didn't understand. Shadows coalesced into a figure, an ancient spirit that towered above them, its eyes burning like flames. You will be judged, the spirit bellowed, its voice echoing in the chamber. Face your darkest fears. Before Aka could react, the spirit unleashed a wave of energy that sent him sprawling backward. He found himself standing in a twisted version of his past, surrounded by the haunting memories of his struggles and failures. Shadows whispered his insecurities, and he felt their cold grip tightening around him. In this dark reflection of his life, AKA saw himself as a child, alone in his room, surrounded by crumpled sheets of paper filled with lyrics that never saw the light of day. The shadows twisted into figures, his friends who had abandoned him, his family who never believed in his dreams. Look at you, a voice taunted from the shadows. A failure. A nobody. AKA clenched his fists, anger boiling within him. I am not a failure. I am a fighter. Suddenly, the shadows transformed into Kemi, her face twisted in despair. You'll never make it, AKA. Just give up. No. AKA shouted, the pain in his heart igniting a fire within him. I won't let you win. He closed his eyes, drawing on the power of the lion, the spirit that had given him strength. The shadows surged toward him, but this time, he stood tall, a shield of light forming around him. I choose my own path, he roared, and with a burst of energy, the shadows recoiled, shattering like glass. AKA blinked, finding himself back in the chamber, surrounded by the Brotherhood, who were now staring at him with a mix of fear and awe. He is strong, one of them whispered, their voice trembling. But Jide was unfazed, his expression darkening. You think you can resist us? You are nothing without the Brotherhood. You will pay the price for your defiance. With a wave of his hand, the shadows coiled around AKA, trying to pull him back into the darkness. AKA felt the pressure building, a vice closing around him. He reached out for Kemi, who stood at the edge of the circle, her eyes wide with fear. Fight it, AKA, she screamed, desperation lacing her voice. You're stronger than this. As the shadows tightened their grip, AKA's resolve hardened. He could feel the lion's spirit roaring within him, igniting a fierce fire of determination. I will not bow to you. With a surge of power, AKA unleashed a blast of light that erupted from his core, scattering the shadows and sending the Brotherhood members stumbling back. You're a fool. Jide spat, rage evident in his eyes. You don't understand what you're up against. But Aka felt invincible. He could taste the sweet promise of power, the allure of fame just within reach. I'll do whatever it takes to protect Kemi, he vowed. As he looked around, he realized that the Brotherhood had underestimated him. He was no longer just a struggling rapper, he was a force to be reckoned with, ready to take on the darkness that threatened to consume him. The chamber buzzed with tension as AKA's declaration hung in the air. The Brotherhood members exchanged uneasy glances, their loyalty to Jide wavering. Jide, furious and humiliated, stepped closer, his eyes narrowing into slits. You think you've won, don't you? He sneered. But you've just begun to scratch the surface of the darkness that lies ahead. As if on cue, a loud crash echoed from the entrance. The doors flew open, and a group of hooded figures stormed in, their faces obscured. AKA's heart raced, were they friends or foes? Stop right there, one of the newcomers shouted. The figures quickly surrounded the Brotherhood, weapons gleaming under the flickering candlelight. You're not taking him, one of them yelled, pointing a finger at AKA. It was another faction that had been tracking the Brotherhood's dark activities. Jide's expression shifted to one of panic. "You've come too late. He's ours now." In a flash, chaos erupted. The room was filled with shouts and the sounds of scuffling feet as members of the Brotherhood clashed with the new arrivals. Aka stood frozen, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "Kemi, we need to get out of here," he shouted, grabbing her hand. But before they could move, Jide lunged at Aka, fury etched on his face. "You think you can escape your destiny? You will pay for this," he roared, and in that moment the glimmer of a blade flashed in Jide's hand. Aka dodged just in time, adrenaline surging as he and Kemi darted through the melee. The chaotic scene felt surreal, shadows danced wildly around them, and Aka could hear the low growl of spirits awakening, their presence thick in the air. "This way!" Kemi yelled, leading Aka through a narrow corridor that branched away from the chaos. Will Kemi and Aka make it out? And escape the Brotherhood? It is going to be a thrilling final. Join us to find out.